This morning on The Dish, celebrity chef Marc Murphy. He's a judge on the Food Network's hit show Chopped and executive chef and owner of two of New York City's most popular restaurants, Landmarc and Ditch Plains.
When he was young, he traveled the world with his father, a diplomat, which might explain his love of food. Chef Marc joins us this morning with his ultimate dish, spaghetti alla carbonara. And Chef, great to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me here.
So you got spaghetti carbonara on the plate. What else did you bring?
Well, we brought a little ratatouille and then some Brussels sprouts, which is one of my favorite vegetables.
Love
and then we do a raw zucchini salad. You just shave them into a little sort of spaghetti with olive oil, lemon juice, and some pecorino cheese.
Delicious.
Very, very fresh and, you know, a light dish.
So we mentioned in the introduction you traveled a lot as a kid.
I did. My father was an American diplomat, and we moved every 2 or 3 years. So we were one place and then would be another. It was just constantly moving. I was born in Milan in Italy, moved to Paris, then down in the south of France in Villefranche. And then we did a stint in
Lovely accent.
We did a stint in Virginia, and then we moved to Rome, back to Genoa, and then back to Rome again, and just bounced around a lot. And then I ended up cooking in Paris for a while. I worked in a one-star Michelin restaurant there as well later on in life when I decided to start cooking.
What was your favorite food spot?
I think my favorite food spot is probably Italy. It's more me. It's more the relaxed, the comfortable. It's very. You know, you go to any Italian restaurant in Italy, it's going to be good. And it's going to be really relaxed.
Yep.
When it comes to great Italian cooking and something like the spaghetti carbonara, is it difficult to do it right?
I don't know if it's difficult to do it right. It's just you got to practice and you got to do it to what your tastes are. And I mean, I was in Rome for a long time, and Carbonara is one of those dishes that is just, everybody makes it right. And it's the most simple dish to make. It's basically eggs, cheese, and bacon, and there's nothing else in it, and black pepper.
How does it all come together?
It's simple,
How do you
but
prepare it?
It's not that complicated. I used to do it when I ended up going to a school up in New Hampshire for a while, and there was a little stove in the dormitory, and I used to make carbonara for everybody.
Lucky dorm.
It was one of those things. I was like, well, this is the cafeteria stuff. I'm going to make some carbonara for everybody in the dorm, and everybody used to love it.
Were you surfing back then?
No, I started surfing probably about 6 years ago. My wife, for Father's Day, bought me a surfboard. She thought it would look good leaned up against the house, and I was like, well, I'm going to go try this thing, and I called the local surf shop in Montauk and saw if there was anybody that could try to help me out, and I met this guy Corey, and we went off and. My first day, it was pouring rain and there was big waves. Come on, let's go. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. And of course, that was just the best thing to challenge me. And I wanted to keep trying, and I still keep trying.
Is that what your personality is? If you see something that feels insurmountable, you want it?
Pretty much. I mean, I guess not all the ways, but it was just something that, out in the beach, I get bored at the beach. I just don't like to sit there.
You get bored at the beach?
I need
totally
something
agree.
to do.
I'm with you. I don't like to just sit there.
After 5 minutes, I'm like, all right, now what?
Yeah.
That's just the way I am. I need to do things. And I thought, well, surfing, I'll be doing something. And getting out there in that water, I'm not to make fun of people that go play golf, but I'd rather, instead of chasing a white ball around a green field in the hot sun, I'd much rather floating in the ocean and trying to catch a wave.
So you like golf? What are we drinking here?
This is the Chateau Neuf du Pape, and it's just I'm a big fan of old world wines. I'm not saying, I love American wines as well, but to me, to bring me back to my childhood, not that I was drinking too much wine when I was a child, but we were always able to put a little splash in our water.
You were in Europe.
Wow.
We always, my grandfather always put a little red wine in our water just to give it a little color, and that's just sort of the way you start. And but I just love the terroir, the depth of French wines and Italian wines as well. It brings back memories of where I grew up.
My son is not sleeping well. Are you making recommendations?
Give him a little of this. You brought your #1 ingredient along today.
It's one of those ingredients that's always in the fridge. My wife loves chicken with mustard, and I do too. And mustard goes so well. It's the base of almost all the vinaigrettes that I like to make, and it's always needed. You always need mustard. One of my favorite ingredients.
And by the way, as you sign this dish, he's the second chef in the last, 4 weeks to bring Dijon mustard.
Dijon mustard is big.
It's the big ingredients.
It's a big ingredient. It's fantastic.
I love it. I'm a big fan as well. I think it just goes well with everything, and I like it with chicken, like you said.
Right, and if you take a big spoonful, it might clear out that cold you got.
Or the wine, or a combination of both.
I say mix the two.
Chef, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.